So as this is the first presentation of today, I'm trying to make it meaningful for all of you because I know attending session, being proactive listener is very tough these days because of all those nudges you get in your WhatsApp, in your Instagram, etc. So just bear with me for next 20 minutes. It will be value adding for you. You will know a little bit more about e-commerce and the future of e-commerce, which will be part of our life as well. So I'll start with a story which I kind of got 2 weeks back. I was going for a road trip with one of my family friends, and the son of my friend asked me that I want to have Feastables. I said, what is Feastables? I had no idea what was Feastable. Then my son explained me Feastable is a chocolate influenced by Mr. Beast, who is a YouTuber. So Feastable is something which is influenced by Mr. Beast, a popular YouTube content creator, and has created a market, a niche market for these young adults. And this surprised me when I just looked into the statistics. And the statistics is astonishing. Why? Because as of now, we have thought about different product categories which can give revenue to the different industries. And Mr. Beast, as an industry, their major business was content creation. But when these content creators are becoming so popular that they are productizing their brand, and Feastable is one of the examples, which is now more revenue generator than the content which Mr. Beats create from their YouTube channels. And the growth is phenomenal. They have started in 2022, and now they are $520 million brand. So that is huge. Now this implies that, like nowadays, if you can influence people, you can build a business and you can earn from that business and you can make it profitable. And that is what is happening in India, because today's context is majorly driven by our aspiration, our growth strategy, etc. So if you just think about January 2025, this year, this was a phenomenal year for India. Why? There are two things which were happening in parallel. One was Coldplay, which actually completely made our lives, music industry, phenomenally successful over a weekend. In one weekend, Ahmedabad earned 377 CR as a revenue, direct revenue from this particular event, and whereas the overall revenue from this particular event was 641 CR, including all those tourism, all those hotel booking, all those travel, etc. This is called experience economy. So we are going through experience economy in a huge and large manner. We actually, as individual, always think that if we buy some good product, it will show that mere achhe din chal raha hai, right? When I buy a large TV or when I buy something like a home or a car, it shows that my prosperity is there. And now experience economy does not relate to that traditional mindset, because you will not have anything after this experience, right? You will just feel that and then you will go somewhere else and you will tell the story. So now why this is happening? Why this consumption pattern of India is changing so much? And there lies another truth, which is our spiritual mindset, because one side when we are having Coldplay music drawing so many Gen Zs, on the other side, the spiritual mindset of ours were traveling to Kumbh to have Kumbh Mela. And an interesting fact is that both of these phenomenal events had drawn so much of visitors, drawn so much of revenue, and it was all driven by social medias, by mobile apps, because you get to know about all of these things much better in a much larger context because of those influencers, because of all of us who are sharing all those stories all together. So e-retail is driving this massive craze about all of this influencer economy or experience economy, which is going beyond product economy, is all driven by e-retail. Book My Show has recorded their data of this event of Coldplay, and you can see that phenomenal statistics, and because of that, they are organizing so many events after that. Now, if you just think about it, This is for India, and that's what I just want to contextualize it, that India as a country is totally different than others, because when we started our e-commerce journey, majorly we tried to follow the West. Majorly we tried to see what US is doing, we'll just copy it. Be it Amazon, be it other Walmarts of the world, we tried to copy the business model, which worked at certain point, but it didn't work to a massive scale of tier 1 and tier 2, tier 3 cities. But the thing is that our online penetration is growing massively with a 12% year-on-year growth. That means that by 2030, we'll be having 500 million plus online users. And the significance of that, right now, in 2024, we are number 2 in terms of the number of online shoppers. We are number 3 in the world in terms of retail sales, which is huge. That means the world is looking forward to have us part of their journey to make their GMV grows high. And that's what Make in India concept, which everybody is talking about, has a huge potential. India can grow itself by its own consumer. And this particular slide shows about that particular journey. But if I just talk about the present, I really have to go back and rewind you back the way it all started. And that's what I really want to go back to the backdrop of this particular momentum. So now we are talking about Q-commerce, we are talking about internet penetrations and all that, but it was nothing in 1990s. With 1991 reform of economical backdrops, then this all became a possibility. So that actually opened the door for modern retail to come in India, because before that modern retail was nowhere present. So when modern retail started coming, then our e-commerce journey actually started taking a leapfrog. The first and foremost, I want to talk about IRCTC here, because before that, there was a lot of mistrust, distrust about the payment gateways. So people didn't want to pay through these online commerce channels. But IRCTC was the first platform which tried to have this kind of trust built among Indian citizens. And then Ecom 1.0, which I call very favoritely, that Ecom 1.0 is all about horizontal marketplaces. Horizontal marketplaces are all about having multi-categories in a single platform, like an Amazon, like a Flipkart, like a Meesho, right? All the categories all together. That is called Ecom 1.0. Ecom 2.0 is about vertical marketplaces, where you started getting niche skill players building their own platform. D2C players started coming up in Ecom 2.0, right? You can think about Nykaa, you can think about all those players which has been shown over here, Sugar or Pepperfry or Mamaearth, all are vertical players or vertical D2C players. Then came Ecom 3.0, which is basically social commerce. Now, why it came? It came because e-commerce that time was still a 20 million or 30 million households activity. Maximum 30 million people in India were buying from online channel. Now they wanted to reach out to these tier 2, tier 3 cities, which we are talking about these days, using social commerce, using social media. And that's what social commerce had changed the game altogether, because now there are a lot of accessibilities of all those new age brands using Meta, using Instagram, using Google Ads, etc. And now the new age brands are going to Q-commerce, the fastest delivery. So this is the new trend. Ecom 4.0 is all about Q-commerce. Now Q-commerce has become a game changer. Why? Because Walmart and Walmart global CEO 2 months back just communicated that Q-commerce has become 20% of the e-commerce industry in India. One particular business model which did not exist 3 years back had taken 20% of market share is a huge thing. And why it is happening? Why other countries are not successfully implemented Q-commerce, and why India are specifically making the game change using Q-commerce? That is what I'll discuss now, because this is a topic which has come to me multiple times. I really want to go deep in Indian context, why Q-commerce is so successful in India and have a bigger landscape in India, but not other countries can go to this particular pace because of certain reasons. And what are the reasons? So I'll go to that evolution of Q-commerce in India. So if you have to understand Q-commerce, you have to understand our mantra of tier 2, tier 3 cities. We have to understand our unorganized retail first. So India is largely an unorganized retail market. So what is unorganized retail market? Organized retail market means a lot of kirana stores is supplying the goods to the households of yours, right? And that is still the fact that 88% of our retail is basically unorganized. It is getting reduced year after year, but still we are having massive chunk of retail which is unorganized. And why we have more unorganized retailers here? Because of course, the accessibility part, because of the low cost of bringing that, because of population density. We have the highest population density. I'll talk about that in the next slide. And then we are consumers of consuming something around 500 average order value on a regular basis. Our frequency of purchase is high, but our ticket size are low. So that's the reason why unorganized retail is successful, because if you really want to have a high frequency buying pattern, that means you have to go to the store multiple times in a day or multiple times in a week, which is not possible to go to a mall or to a large retail shop. That's what unorganized retail is still the truth in India. And Bharat, I'll say, not say India, because when you think about India, you'll think about Bangalore, you'll think about Mumbai, Delhi. I'm talking about Bharat. I'm talking about the larger context of India. And this is the thing which I just wanted to talk about, the buying frequency. So if you just look into, this is the grocery segment. Grocery segment is the major segment in Q-commerce, as you know, and that's what I just wanted to show this particular graph. You can see F&V, fruits and vegetable and dairy. These are highly consumed, highly frequently consumed products, right? Every day you are consuming dairy milk, or every week you are ordering for fruits and vegetables twice or thrice. That means that I need something which can come to me on a regular basis, and there are multiple reasons behind that. If you think about the kitchen size in Western countries versus kitchen size in India, it is totally different. Kitchen sizes in India is smaller than Western countries, so we don't have consumption space as per the Western countries. We have a limited space where I have to consume all the products, so I need fresh items because we don't behaviorally we are not a consumer of packaged food much, so we really need fresh items on a regular basis. So that's what our buying frequency is more, our order value is less. So this is the graph that shows that. And this is another graph which I just want to show, and which shows that in 1,000 households in India, we have 43 kirana stores. That means in some populated cities, in every 5th block or 4th block is basically a kirana store, because the density, population density is so much that I need one store in 1,000 households to serve them, which is not a case in Germany, USA, Russia, all those developed countries. Only country which is more having more grocery outlets per 1,000 households is Indonesia. So that means these are the major factors that we have high customer concentration. So we have high population inside one particular radius, and that's what Q-commerce operates in a radius of 1.5 kilometer to 2 kilometer, because they really want to operate to this in the hyper-local zone, that I understand the need of that particular hyper-locality and I can serve that. So that is the fundamental mantra of Q-commerce. It also gives you the efficiency in terms of logistics cost. If you think about e-commerce and e-commerce returns are of higher value, and every return costs something around 170 to 180 rupees. But in Q-commerce, the return cost is around 70 rupees. So in a way, if I have a short distance to cover, so return cost also gets reduced. So that means I need to have this particular shipper who is shipping to my home, having more orders per day, so I can actually compensate the salary I'm giving to him, and I can make margin out of it. Then habit formation, which I have talked about, that we have a more frequent buying habit. Now, with Q-commerce, our average order frequency in a month was 4.4. Now it has become 6. And the last one, small and frequent orders. And that is the fundamental truth of India. So these are the very, very distinct features, which is the feature of Bharat and which you cannot find in other countries. And that's what Q-commerce is very, very successful business model. We are having question mark about the profitability of Q-commerce, the sustainability of Q-commerce, and this slide will give you some idea about that. If you just look into this particular slide, you can see that 1 in all $10 we are now spending on Q-commerce. And the CAGR is 100%. That means our growth rate is 100% in this particular field. We have 20 million plus annual active shoppers, 400K plus workforce who are working in this particular field. And this incremental growth of 50% is phenomenal. And that's what we are 20% of the overall e-commerce industry in 3 years. And it can happen that we can become 20% of the overall retail business. Now, if I just give you the statistics, as of now, e-com business is around 60 to 65 billion dollar in India. So that means Q-commerce, though it is showing 6 to 7 billion dollar, as per Walmart Global CEO, it is around 12 billion dollar now. But the retail industries right now is around 850 billion dollar, which is supposed to go to $1 trillion in 4 to 5 years. So if it becomes 20% of the overall retail business, so Q-commerce industry can become $200 billion business, which is huge. That's what everybody is talking about Q-commerce. That's what Q-commerce possibilities, making it profitable is one of the major factors everybody is considering to look into very seriously. And this is the other segment which I just want to talk about. As of now, Q-commerce is very successful in the 6 cities, and these top 6 cities are giving 85% of overall revenue. But now with tier 3, tier 4 cities coming up, buying pattern getting changed, a lot of product mixes are coming, it is becoming more than groceries in this particular area. These 70 plus cities are also getting added in the list of Q-commerce, and this can contribute to the scale which Q-commerce are looking at. And this is the only 3 fundamental pillars which can make Q-commerce profitable. One is that your AOV has to increase, and that's what you can see in most of the Q-commerce players. There are delivery charges added. You can say that after 200 rupees, you will be having a delivery charge free. So all of those are to increase your AOVs. All of that nudges are to increase the frequency of purchase along with some added AOVs per order. So that is the purpose. Gross margin, to increase the gross margin, they have started monetizing those. So monetization happens using ads in the platforms. You can see a lot of ads. Those ads are all monetized one, just like Google Ads. The same fundamental principle has been used over here. And they're also working with direct supply from different brands so that the product margins also can be increased and we can get profit out of it. And then the last piece which I was just talking about, we are also seeing that a lot of brands are improving their operational improvement by using the shipper delivering within the range of 1.5 kilometers so that they don't have much shipping problem, and operational cost can be decreased further if we can have more frequency in that particular area, and that they'll get delivered by the same shipper. So that means if a shipper with higher AOV can deliver more frequent orders in a single household, my profitability problem of Q-commerce can be solved. And industry stalwarts are working towards that. So this is one thing, which is Q-commerce, which I just wanted to talk about. But there are 2-3 other key trends which I also want to touch upon. So another thing which I'm seeing in US. So there is a hugely popular app called Temu. So Temu is a Chinese app, but it has become hugely popular in US right now. It is more popular than Amazon currently. If you just look into the graph on the bottom right, you can see that Temu's downloads are more than Amazon right now. So what are they doing? They're doing hyper value commerce. Now what is hyper value commerce? Hyper value commerce is basically buying products in a cheapest rate. So that means whatever product you are buying in 1,000 rupees, if somebody is giving it at 500 rupees, I'll go for that. And hyper value commerce talks about that. So this is the pattern Temu is following. How they are following? They are getting all the supplies from China and they are delivering it to US. So the production cost is anyways getting minimized because of that. And that's what they are having a margin out of that as well. And this is a mantra which has been followed in India in Shopsy by Flipkart, Bazaar by Amazon, and Zudio. So you can see those are basically hyper value commerce players in India, and there are a lot of other players who are also coming up. The another thing, this is a contrary to the previous slide. In tier 2, tier 3 cities, we are seeing a trend of premiumization. So that means people who are buying a sari of 1,000 rupees, they're actually moving towards a journey of buying 1,000 to 8,000 rupees saris, and this particular slide shows that Nykaa, Myntra, Flipkart, all of those big players, they have major cataloging in the range of 1,000 to 8,000 instead of 1,000 rupees. So there is a trend of mass to premium movement of these customers, which also will increase the AOVs, which will also make the business profitable. And the last one is all about a hyper personalization and experience-driven economy, which I just started with. Now I'll talk about one particular area or industry, which is jewelry. Now, if you just think about jewelry, jewelry was always being treated as an asset, right? When I buy a gold jewelry, it is like a heritage for me. I'll pass it to my next successors, etc., right? But the trend is now changing. The trend is more towards consuming now, not thinking about the future. And that is what I just wanted to show you this jewelry segments data, where 40% of this new gen experimenter is buying lightweight jewelry. Those will not have that merit of the traditional buyer of getting that kind of return which a heavy gold jewelry can give. But they're buying it, and this is 40% of the market now. Now, the 60% market is still the traditional buyer and the security seeker, but 40% buying habit has changed already. And the key driving factors for it is, of course, urbanization, of course, the salary domain, growing salary domain, who have the independence to buy anything what they want. And also the rising independent nuptials. There are a lot of platinum rings are being purchased for all those nuptials. So, and all of those things are actually driving this craze about having an independent buying habit without thinking about the future. So this is India, where we are seeing aspirant buyers buying a lot of things without thinking about the future. They are experiencing that now because that experience probably is enriching them for a better future. They're getting motivated to see Coldplay live. They're getting motivated to buy this kind of jewelry which doesn't have the merit of traditional buying. But this is what India is talking about, India is selling now, and India 2030 looks like. Now, if I just go back to my previous journey of road trip, where I got to know about festivals, what will I do in 2030? So now I plan about another road trip in 2030. Now, I'll not plan myself, right? I'll tell Alexa or Eco, I'll tell that, I want to do a road trip in a tier 4 city. Now, what they will do, they will be having connected network. Now, the booking app, Make My Trip or any other trip, they will be having those AI-enabled understanding of my needs. The tier 4 cities are already enlisted there. So they will do the route planning for me. And once the route planning is done, they will also book the hotels in tier 4 cities. Right now, tier 4 city hotels are not enlisted in most of the cases, right? Now, that time, I hope that those will be all enlisted. So all my hotel bookings are done. But not only hotel booking, the systems will be so integrated that as I'm planning for road trip, so they will also book mechanic service so that they can check my car, and before I start the road trip, they'll also book my fashion apparel or the hyper value commerce, which I just talked about, a Zudio type of product which I just can consume for this road trip. And then finally, it will store in my Google Calendar, so everything is sorted without my intervention. Now I start my road trip, and I suddenly found that there is a rain happening, and I really wanted to enjoy the rain, but I forgot to bring the umbrella. Now Q-commerce will be so fast that it will be delivered in 2 minutes in the tier 4 cities. I'll get it, I'll enjoy that, and then I'll have my Sandip Sandibles instead of Feastables, because I can create my own private label anytime now. So thank you so much. This is e-commerce 2030 looks like.
Do we have any questions for Sandip?
Question? Yes, he has a question. Yeah, I can come to you so that you can use the mic.
Overall great presentation. One question is, so there are a lot of different formats that are coming up in like quick food delivery also. Like in Bangalore, we have Swish, Swiggy has started Bolt and all. How do you see that part shaping up compared to, like, while it's not traditional e-commerce as such, but that's a growing segment also because of a lot of players that are coming up?
Absolutely, that is also experience commerce, and everybody wants to have, I was just having a discussion with one of my founder friends last week, and they're saying that now, because of Q-commerce, when I browse any particular food items, I don't have to restrict myself to a certain brand. a lot of nascent players can get a chance right now, and that's what I can have Korean dish at my home, which I cannot prepare, but I can enjoy that, right? And that moment of experience is more important than just having a dal bhat right now, because that is becoming the new norm, that I am having the pleasure of having a Japanese food or a Korean food at my home. So that's what those experience centers of different type of food items will also get very much uplifting in India right now. Any question? Yes? Yeah.
Any product which is practically below 200 rupees is not viable on quick commerce. And then maximum buying in this sector happens below 200 rupees, okay? People have to club together and get the things. So if I can have some light on the sustainability, what you think that sustainability of quick commerce 3 years or 5 years down the line, how sustainable they would be?
So that's what the three fundamental principles. One is increase your AOVs, which quick commerce players are also doing. That is one thing, because if you think about the order frequency and the shipper cost, these are the two major principles to make Q-commerce profitable. So if you have order frequency more for one particular household, along with AOV increased, so one particular shipper can supply that. Second one is that dark stores cannot be 10 kilometers away from your home. So then it will not be hyperlocal, not a e-commerce, it will be something in between. Don't do that. Like the industry players, I have also talked about that. If you really want to do a Q-commerce, it has to be within the range of 1.87 kilometers. That is the industry average right now. So within that radius, you have to sense the hyperlocal needs. Q-commerce is not having 3,000 long tail catalogs in one particular platform. Of course, it will be having more categories than Kirana stores. Maybe a Kirana store can have 1,000 SKUs. Your Q-commerce can have 5,000 SKUs. But it will never be 10,000 SKUs, 50,000 SKUs. Because if you just think about Myntra right now, if you go to Myntra and I want to buy a particular shirt, right? There are so many items, but my average scrolling depth is 150 products maximum. That is the industry average again. So that means I can see only 150 products only. So all the other items which are there are waste. So now what Q-commerce teams are doing, they are doing a product curation based on the needs of those particular region. I'm also seeing a trend that in one particular city also, South has a different demand and North has a different demand. So they're also having those Q-commerce product curation based on that need. So of course, a lot of AI things has to come there to understand the products, understanding of that particular region, of that particular segment of customer, and then curate that, have better AOVs, have more order frequency, then this particular problem will be solved. But as of now, this is a problem because I will not pay delivery charge for all the orders I'm doing. Like I want to have one particular a glass of water and I just want to have a Bisleri can, so that is a 20 rupees can and I have to give 50 rupees, I will not do that. Because then if I pay 50 rupees per day, in a month I'm paying around 3,000 rupees for delivery charge. So that economy will not sustain until and unless I have a more frequent orders and combined AOV which is more than 500.
We'll just take one last question.
Hello. Thank you. This is Radhakrishna from C. Krishna Chetty Jewellers, 155 years old legacy company in Bengaluru, serving the jewelry. So for the jewelry industry, how this quick commerce, as you said, like it is a hyper local. This case, how this is going to applicable? Say basically, we can't establish like hyper local stores similar to the other industry, jewelry industry.
So what is the brand? What is the product categories?
It's the gold, jewelry, diamonds, gold, silver.
Okay, so I'll tell you the Q-commerce story in jewelry because I'm very deeply attached to a lot of big brands of jewelry industry and I have done their websites. So during Diwali last time, Q-commerce sale of these gold coins were more than the stores. Do you know that? Yes. So people bought more coins from Q-commerce channels than going to the store and buying it. I was just hearing another, one of the stalwarts of the industry, Reliance CEO, they were talking on the other day that, people are celebrating more religious events because Q-commerce is giving them the Mata ki, Chauki ka, all the elements, right? Because if I really want to celebrate something, it is all about festivals for me. Now, Jimmy's Cocktail is another example. Jimmy's Cocktail is giving the cocktails. Now, I'm sitting at home in the evening. I really want to have cocktails. Of course, it is not a mocktail or it is not alcohol, but I really want to have that, enjoyment right now. So this kind of segment, which was very no to my traditional home, is also getting so much embraced these days. And jewelry, of course, it will not be heavy jewelry using Q-commerce as of now, but light jewelries are getting purchased. CaratLane is also giving like one-day delivery kind of a stuff. Everybody is moving towards that direction because jewelry, the lightweight jewelry segment is also driven by impulsive buys. So an impulsive buy and high intent buy is something Q-commerce can solve it. It cannot be solved just making the customer wait and go to the store and then finally purchasing it. So if you can solve those problems with the product fitment for this particular segment, then your industry will also flourish.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause for Sandip, for starting off this fabulous morning. We're throwing light on, growth, profitability, and the new rules of engagement for e-commerce of 2030. I now would like to welcome on stage Prishu Kagra and Bani Chauhan, the producers of India E-Commerce Forum 2025, to kindly felicitate Sandip. Let's put our hands together. I know that's going to be a request right through the day, but that's a request that I'd like you all, to cheer and applaud for all of our presenters and our moderators that will be, coming up on stage very shortly. Thank you once again, Sandip Hazra, Director, PwC India, and of course, big thank you to Prishu and Bani for doing us the honors.